stuff. I want to get to Jim Schwartz here in just a moment. Let me get this off my chest here about Grant Udinski. Grant Udinski's 30 years old, and he is a possibility for the Cleveland Browns. They've requested to interview him. He is the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I want to go quick with this because Jim Schwartz is a big deal, and Jim Schwartz, they've requested to interview him in Baltimore. I think that a guy like Grant Udinski, I was trying to remember. I know I've heard this before, and I want to say it was Matthew Collar up there in Minnesota, who is the one who brought up to me in an interview a couple years ago about, you got to watch this kid. Like, he's a big deal. And I know I know Matthew because we have the same birthday, oddly enough. And he covers the Vikings up there. That's where we're at right now on all this. And he's like, you're going to love this young guy. If he's going to be a head coach someday, you're going to love this young guy. Okay, nice 30. And he's never called plays before, and I got that yesterday where I think you and I agree on this. I think play calling is overrated. I think so many guys get hired for play calling, and then they don't know how to manage a football game, and they manage their team, or they call plays right into losses for their football team. When you're the head coach, you have to manage everything. You have to be able to get the ebbs and flows to give your defense the support that they need. You have to be able to pull back on an offensive coordinator and go, excuse me, this is a what possession game, and we have how much time left? You're running the football here. Like, you have to do that. And I think guys get caught in offensive coordinator mode. And, like, I saw Shane Steichen do it last year. I thought I saw Shane Steichen do it a couple times this year, and I thought he got better in Indianapolis because of it. I think that he had to because of the situation that they had at quarterback. That's just one example I give you. And I know I'm going into the weeds, nitty-gritty about that. So him not calling plays, yes, that's something that you're going to talk about. But I think it's an overrated thing. I'm hiring a guy based on his plan for management, his organizational skills. It would be a gamble to take a 30-year-old guy. I can give you Sean McVay. I can't guarantee he's going to be Sean McVay. Can't do it. It would be a gamble. But you want to go young offensive mind, that's the league anymore. A lot of young offensive minds are head coaches of the NFL, and you're thinking, if it doesn't work out for Grant Udinski, it'd be like, hey, you're 30 years old. If it didn't work out, you're 32, 33 years old by the time it's over. Like, you're going to be a head coach again in the NFL.
Honest, I've never heard of the guy. Owen, have you heard of the guy?
I have no clue.
I swear, Matthew, thank God for Matthew for bringing him up. Because I had never, I go, where did I hear it? I go, oh my God, it's Collar who told me.
Yeah, the Shield House. What, somebody tweeted us last night.
Shield House.
Yeah, somebody tweeted us last night.
Is the name.
And they had like a 5-minute video on all McVay's coaching tree and how it's really just more branches off the Shanahan coaching tree. So the whole league
is all incestuous.
Yeah, this whole league, I think every save maybe 4 teams, 28 out of 32 have somebody from that coaching tree.
You wait until Kevin's
that is on the offensive side of the football.
You wait until Kevin's a successful coach, and then 20-something-year-old Axel Carmen comes off the Stefanski tree. But that's here nor there.
But Stefanski came from the Kubiak, which is off the Shanahan
tree, which is on the Dan Reeves tree, which is
that's what I mean. These all
who's off the Tom Landry tree.
These all kind of originate from the same place, so that doesn't matter to me anymore.
Walter Camp.
The other part of it is
smoking weed back in the day here.
The other part of it is that this video they sent us, it's 5 minutes of...
Did they say the name right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank God.
It's 5 minutes of him working on the computer and using an architectural program to plot all these plays out and then getting it ready for the install. And someone's like, I think we found the guy. And I'm like, what? He's doing data entry.
Well, where's Isaiah Bond fit in all that?
I can chart these plays in 2 seconds using AI. This doesn't mean you're a good head coach. What are you talking about?
If I know a guy who can chart things, I know an Anthony Lyon.
I guess I'm qualified.
Short?
Give me 3 days with one of these members of the coaching tree, and I can actually save this. This guy's bragging. Shieldhouse is bragging about how, well, he's not bragging, but it's like, yeah, these Tuesday nights are long hours before our Wednesday install. I'm like, you're wasting time. You're not working smart. What are you doing?
Wow,
I watch it.
Tone is anti-Shieldhouse.
No, I'm anti.
And for $20, you can get the upgrade where it doesn't like.
I'm
half the time.
anti anybody that thought this would make you a good head coach. Is that you are working till 1 a.m. on Tuesday night, putting these plays in for an install? I'm like, you guys are all wasting time. That's the one thing, Kevin.
I disagree.
Kevin sat. Well, I can tell you, Kevin sat with us off the air, and we were just BSing one time before a segment, and I learned more. By the way, he was so much better right before we went on the air. We went on the air, and he was, he was Kevin. But off the air,
most of
he's
them are
going
like that,
on and on and on about how work smarter, not harder. Anybody bragging about how they're spending long nights, they're just wasting time. Kirk Cignetti, there's a great video of him talking. Maybe it was right when he got hired, and he said, I'm not going to be walking around the building going, who is still here after hours? Oh, I'm going to give him a gold star. He's like, no, we're wasting time. He said, in our meetings, it's business time.
Well,
it's time to actually figure stuff out. He goes, I'm not buying all that late hour stuff.
Can I defend the Shieldhouse thing, which I didn't even see? Can I defend a video I didn't even see? He's doing his job at a high level. He can do his job at a high level because he's got Matt Stafford. So you have a high IQ quarterback, a good leading quarterback who knows what he wants out of his football team, who knows what he wants out of his offense. And so when you have a guy like Stafford, you can go ahead and plug in things and make it, hey, make this make sense to everybody so we find the very best ways and best formulas to win. You can do that. In Cleveland, you'll have Shedeur Sanders, who is very much learning, or you'll have quarterback X out of free agency or a trade or bridge or whatever. It's going to be different. So I don't want you to be all anti. The only person I'm really anti is Cliff Kingsbury just because of Peter Principle crap. That's the only person I'm like, no, I don't want any part of him.
It's just funny
whatsoever.
I guarantee Cliff Kingsbury could do exactly what Nate Shieldhouse was doing in that video.
I'm sure he is.
So could 1,000 other guys. That's my point.
But
that doesn't mean you're a head coaching candidate.
Well, obviously, I know that. That's fine. But I'm just giving you the reason, and you're getting upset over a video that you saw that I didn't even see. I'm going, yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's his job. He's supposed to come up with different ways as the passing game coordinator, so Matthew Stafford can flourish in his offense with the guys that they have. I can't blame the guy for doing his job.
I'm not blaming.
Yes, you are.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying.
Now I'm not getting.
I'm saying that video is not evidence that you're the next big thing in the NFL, and we have to tap into it now because if we miss out on him, we're not going to be. There's 1,000 guys that can draw up plays, catalog plays,
that's true.
Call the plays.
That's true.
That's not a head coach. I don't understand why people don't get this. And this is the difference between...
Well, I saw an abacus in Kevin Stefanski's office, so maybe he's ahead of him.
This is the difference between when we're talking about Mike Tomlin, who, because he was in a playoff game last night, because it's 5 straight that they've gotten blown out, it's like, yeah, Mike Tomlin doesn't have a quarterback. Like, I hate to simplify things. This is the difference of why I think Kyle Shanahan's amazing, is he's been to 2 Super Bowls without a real quarterback. Like, Brock Purdy is good, okay? He's better than I would take Brock Purdy today over Aaron Rodgers today.
I think...
But Jimmy Garoppolo is fine, right? He's fine. But he's not any of the guys that you strive to get. You know, the Lamars, the Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomeses, the Josh Allens. Maybe Caleb Williams is going to be there. Even Jordan Love. I would take Jordan Love over anything Shanahan's had.
Jordan Love's really good. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if Mike Tomlin had one of those guys, I bet he'd get to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have one of those guys. They'll never bottom out to get one of those guys. I don't know how he gets them. That's the one hard part about this.
I mean, okay, they did bottom out for Caleb Williams, but we're going to bottom. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I got a little defensive of Nate Shieldhouse just because I just think he's doing what he's supposed to do. Yeah. But I agree with you altogether. It's like I still need. We're gonna be trending towards a younger team. I need a guy who's going to be a leader. Just can I say this about Grant Udinski real quick before we get to the Jim Schwartz on this? Is I brought up the Sean McVay situation. The Rams weren't known as a great organization when Sean McVay took over. Okay, this was seen as a very big risk and a very big experiment. They made their situation better because they had Wade Phillips running their defense and basically was the head coach of the defense in so many ways. Like, again, I bring up the Sean McVay where he went over and sat on the equipment box for half the season with the quarterbacks until he got his feet wet. Like that, you might have to do that with Grant Udinski. Sean McVay was also calling plays. You want to bring up the play calling thing. He was calling plays for a couple years before that. And then I have to think about, who do I have to trust to make this thing work? Because now you are going to have a young head coach that is going to make mistakes as a head. If you were to hire him, you're going to have a young head coach who's going to make young guy mistakes as head coach in the NFL. You have to have the proper systems in place to support him and also establish a good culture. He hasn't been around very long, and I don't think that you have what it takes. I mean, Andrew Berry, could you see Andrew Berry being fired by December?
Yes.
Okay. I think everybody out there says yes. When the owner says only things about the last draft, to me it says you got about a year.
Yeah, I mean, if the Browns
to
started
get this
out,
thing going.
If the Browns started out like 1-7, that could be it.
So you hire Grant Udinski, young guy. If he's in over his head at all, you're looking at major disaster, Titanic proportions disaster, and more wasted years.
It'd be a clean house,
Denzel and Miles,
everything,
and all that stuff.
Scouting, from top on down.
So I think he's worth talking to. I think he's worth seeing. I think he's worth kicking the tires on. I don't think it's a waste of time at all. He might end up being a great head coach. He might end up being the next Belichick with Brady. Who knows? But I just don't think you have the support system in there. That pointed out, if you were to bring in a guy like that, you damn sure better make Jim Schwartz the assistant head coach or give him some sort of a bump or something like that, because the Baltimore thing scares the bejesus out of me. And could you imagine Kevin Stefanski being hired by the Baltimore Ravens and Jim Schwartz ends up being his assistant head coach? Because that would be a bump, and he can move up if he were the assistant head coach or associate head coach or anything like that. Would you or would you not be sick to your stomach?
But wait a second.
Because we've seen with this defense, it is not coordinator-proof, say Joe Woods.
Well, now what would our quarterbacks do going up against if Schwartz, had now he doesn't have Myles Garrett if he went to Baltimore.
I say the same thing for Jim Schwartz that I said with Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan is a legend. Someday you will have to replace him. And they replaced him with a mess. Mike Bloomgren's way better than Andy Dickerson. Way better. But at first you replaced him with a mess. When people got mad at me for saying what I said about Bill Callahan, I said, no, it's the simple fact of an assistant coach is an assistant coach. And if you have any modicum of success, you are probably going to have to replace that guy. See what they had to do up in Detroit. See what they've had to do in a couple of other places and how it hasn't worked out when they've had Philadelphia, for crying out loud, and what's going on over there. You have to replace guys. This defense is not so good that a coordinator can't get in the way. We've seen a coordinator get in the way a couple of times with Myles Garrett in the defense, with Denzel Ward in the defense. If you lose Jim Schwartz and you have a new head coach, well, you better have something there, because I think a lot of Browns fans are going to have a little bit of a lump in their throat. I think they're tough talking, and myself included. It's like, hey, the end was there. It happens. It was time for separation. If Kevin becomes the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, it would be awkward, but fine, so be it. Jim Schwartz ends up going with him some way, somehow, with a different title. And I want to ask Zach about this, because I think that it's perfectly legal to get a bump as an assistant head coach somewhere, and you can move on from your contract. That's my belief right now. Maybe I end up being wrong about that. I'll ask Zach about it at 8 o'clock. Oh, it's not in his head that I'm right, though. You would have a lump in your throat, and you know you would. You know you would. That, for as a Browns fan, that's almost too much for me to take. I'd want to take my lip and pull it up over my face. So that would be too much. Are you worried about losing Jim Schwartz to that? Like, do you take him as a serious head coaching candidate in Baltimore?
I didn't, Ken. It's very interesting that normally, like any interview we do, I'm like, oh, we're mining for information. And I'm thinking, Baltimore wouldn't be mining for the Browns information. Like we finish worse than them every year. Like they wouldn't be doing that, right?
They know we have a hell of a defense.
They would be legit. Okay, but we have Myles Garrett. Like that's the hard part of it. I think they really might be interviewing Jim Schwartz to be their head coach.
But they've got components of what's supposed to be a good defense.
Yeah.
I know that they had injuries, but they're supposed to be a good defense over there. And I think that's one of the things that they're worried about.
Their defensive line is one of the best. I know that he wouldn't have Myles Garrett anymore, but as a whole, he has more to work with there throughout all four positions than just having the best defensive player.